Hello, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And Eid Mubarak. This is the third day of Eid here, which means Eid has practically ended in other parts of the world. In some parts of the world, this is the third day. Well, officially, not officially, I would say originally, Eid al Fitr is just one day. It's just one day of celebration. But most of the scholars they agreed that they should extend it to 3 days, and that's why generally all over the Muslim world we celebrate Eid al-Fitr for 3 days. But actually, Eid al-Azha or Eid al-Adha is actually a 3 day. That is the real 3 day Eid event. So I guess keeping in sync with that also it makes sense. That's 3 days Eid. Why can't we have? I mean, why not have 3 days for Eid al-Fitr, which is best? Because in Eid al-Fitr you need to wind down, which is true. It's very true. Eid al-Fitr is where you suddenly have this, celebration right after Ramzan. You mark the end of Ramzan, you celebrate, and then after that celebration, you need to wind down. So that's why all the Muslim scholars and all the authorities of the whole Muslim world, they had kind of unanimously agreed that, yeah, no, let's have at least 2 more days to, ease out of the festivity and to wind down and to relax after all, because yes, it does get to be a bit too much. It's very, very understandable. So as I said, Eid Mubarak, because it is technically still Eid, and in my part of the world, at least in the subcontinent, and in certain other countries, it is still Eid. It's the third day, so Eid Mubarak. The reason why, obviously, I wouldn't pick up a podcast during Eid is, everybody has things to do, places to go, people to visit, you know. Um, and although I know that there are so many of us nowadays, the world has become such a sorry state that there's a huge majority of us who are literally having boring Eids. I think the only time we have a good time is, or the only time you actually feel that it's Eid is because you go out early in the morning to pray, and then you meet up with all the other people in the community. But then, you come back home exhausted. Because as I said, that is understandably why, the authorities and the scholars all decided that no, it should be a 3 day event, because you are exhausted. When Ramzan is over, you're exhausted. So yeah, sometimes, and nowadays, as I said, the way life has become, Eid is not the same. I know many people will agree with me. Eid is just definitely not the same. It used to be a very, very happy, very, very festive, very, very wondrous time, every year. But what with the government and the army and the global crisis, the domestic crisis, the inflation, everything coming together is just ruining it. It ruined Ramzan for all, and it's ruining Eid for all. That's a fact. That's a plain fact. But still, people do not like to put a dampen on it, because obviously, Islamically too, actually. Remember, I told you that there's a hadith where the Prophet said that you should celebrate and enjoy whenever you can. Enjoy life, celebrate life whenever you can. And according to him, Eid is a celebration that you should not allow it to be dampened. You should not allow life to dampen your Eid festivities. And as we know, he went through a lot, but he still celebrated Eid. And, so that is just to show us that, listen, life goes on, crises go on, a lot goes on, depression goes on, but take whatever you can. Take whatever you can of the good things that life offers you and celebrate whenever you can. But as I said, it is getting more and more difficult now for people to do. But people have still tried, people have still done it. Despite all the crisis, despite all the depression, despite all the anger towards the government, towards the army, towards what is going on, towards the atrocities that were repeatedly done by the government and the army against the people of Pakistan. The atrocities committed by the Jews against the Palestinians, the atrocities committed by the Indian government, the Indian army, and the Indian people against Kashmir. I would say the Indian people because I'm sorry to say, but this is getting to be beyond sick. It's really sickening to see how the Indians are behaving in the exact same manner as the Jewish settlers are in Palestine. All the Indians, I'm sorry, but don't you have any conscience? Don't you have any shame that you and your government, you are trying to, not only have you revoked the status of Kashmir, but now you're literally trying to infiltrate Kashmir, trying to buy them out of their land, try to settle into their land so that there should be a Hindu majority, so that the Muslims should be removed from Kashmir and Kashmir should forever be India's. How are you any different from the Jews who are doing the exact same thing in Palestine for the exact same reasons? You have committed genocide in Kashmir, and you, the people of India, you are now traveling to Kashmir because your government is promoting tourism, and they're promoting that you go and you try to steal people's land, and that you try to insult the people of Kashmir. Basically, you're insulting their God-given right of independence. You're insulting their very existence. And I find that very sickening, I'm sorry. So whenever I see Indians rush to Kashmir on, these touristic packages, I personally find it very, very sickening. It's just as how I find it very sickening when when Pakistani army, when it goes and it commits atrocities against the various parts, against the people of Pakistan in the various parts of Pakistan, be it Balochistan, be it Punjab, be it KPK, it doesn't matter. There's not a single province that has gone untouched at the hands of this illegal American planted government and American planted chief of army staff that are going around in an anti-state manner, committing terrorism against the people of Pakistan, who actually are the state of Pakistan. It's the people. We, the people, we're the state. You're the servants of the state. The fact that you, the servants of the state, have taken over and are trying to torture, to terrorize, to kill, to kidnap, to threaten, to to literally, you're just showing why servants should never be masters. That age-old, hierarchy that was laid down where servants should be kept way below. You're literally forcing us to think that, oh, that was a good thing, that actually made more sense, even though in Islam obviously there's no place for that. But you are literally, or maybe you're what the Bible, I think it was the Bible that said that, a day will come when the bastards will roam the earth, and when the bastards will rule the earth, that's when the earth will fall into demise. So I think this was part of the one of the biblical statements, was it narratives, or I don't remember, but there was this saying. And you know what, yeah, we're seeing it. We're actually literally seeing it. You, the bastards, are roaming the earth, and you are ruling us, and you are basically ruining everything. You've destroyed this country, as if it wasn't enough that whenever an army personnel comes, the first thing that he does is sell bits of this country off to the neighboring countries. That wasn't enough. No, now you have to come and you have to just destroy it completely. Wow, kudos to you. This is the point where I would literally give you the MF swear, but okay. So yeah, here we are, all of us going down this revolting, very, very revolting digression and de-evolution as a civilization that is beyond repair, seriously. I think, yeah, obviously we all know we're going towards the end of times. The end of time is coming very, very near. We can see it by all these things that are going on. All the you can literally tick mark in all the boxes. You can check all those boxes that have, marked the arrival of the last, of the end of times, really. So yeah, because listen, look at what are we doing? We are literally regressing as a race, that even today we are celebrating, even though we know very, very well that the Prophet has told us that there are certain celebrations and there are certain rituals and rites and traditions that we should not follow, we cannot follow, of our predecessors, right? Which means of the Christians and the Jews and the pagans all before us. Why? Because they're deep rooted in pagan rites. And I've said this even before, rebranding a ritual doesn't make it halal. Just like how rebranding a pagan festival of the 25th of December into Christmas doesn't make it Christmas. Rebranding Valentine's Day doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it Valentine's Day. You understand? These were atrocious rituals that were committed against humanity. Similarly, when you go for Halloween, you can't rebrand Halloween. I'm sorry, but it's 100% rooted in paganism. It conflicts with all religions, monotheist religions. You just can't say that, oh, it's not like we don't believe in it, so it doesn't matter if we just, do it for fun. No, you can't do it for fun because, again, not only, okay, here's two things you need to understand. When you are celebrating something that is deeply rooted in a very, very religious ritual and rite, and you're celebrating it for fun, one, you're insulting them. Yes, you are. Imagine if somebody comes and says, oh, I'm just going to pray for fun. I'm going to pray for fun and I'm going to see what happens, and I'm just going to go to the mosque for fun. I'm going to go to the Kaaba for fun. I'm going to do Hajj for fun. I'm going to do Umrah for fun. You're not even a Muslim. And that's why you're not even allowed to do Umrah, and you're not allowed to go to Makkah. You're not allowed, to enter the sacred sites for a reason, right? This is not a joke. Going to something that is of a religious importance and doing something for fun, that you are not only insulting that religion and its beliefs. So, and number two, you are rebranding it just so that you can have fun. You're rebranding Halloween just so that you can have fun because it's so fun. It doesn't make sense in any case. I'm sorry, no matter what kind of logic you try to put in, it doesn't make sense. Oh, we don't believe in it anyway. Yeah, you don't believe in it, then don't do it. If you don't believe in it, why are you doing it? You see, again, are you trying to insult those who do believe in it? Because for them, it's a sacred ritual. For them, it's a religious festival. You understand? So you need to understand that it's okay for you to wish people on celebrating whatever is their religious festivities, but it's not okay for you to celebrate it. This has been made clear so many times, as the Prophet said that, a time will come when you will start following the Christians and the Jews, cubit by cubit, inch by inch. So it's like, until the day will come when your whole life is basically infiltrated by all their customs and all their rituals and all their cultures, and it's a part of your life. And this is how, you go from bidat to direct shirk. Okay, I mean, similarly, why is it okay for even the modern Americans or the Europeans to celebrate April Fool's Day? And more to the point, why are you people who have nothing to do with the Western world whatsoever, why did you think that it was okay to turn it into a global phenomenon? You do realize that the April Fool's Day is again another celebration and marking of a barbaric and atrocious act. It was a barbaric act, just like Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day and April Fool's Day are both related to the same thing. They're related to the barbaric and atrocious act against the Native Americans by the white people of Europe when they decided to illegally occupy the American lands. And that includes Canada too. Okay? So April Fool's is it's literally a commemoration of the day when they made fools out of the Native Americans by reneging on their contracts and on their oaths, their vows, their promises. Thanksgiving Day is the day they sat and gave thanks for committing genocide against the Native Americans. Why is it okay? Oh, because, now, Thanksgiving is about saying, it's not about saying thanks. Stop rebranding things to suit you. It doesn't change what they originally mean. And it doesn't make it okay. Because guess what? Despite your efforts, the Native Americans still exist. They may be almost extinct, they may be very small in number thanks to you, but you know what? They still exist. They're still alive. So, you claiming that you're rebranding Thanksgiving Day and now it's all about thanking God for all the things that you have, and it's, they're there, they're still alive, they're still witnesses to what it actually means. You're hurting them and insulting them all over again. And same as for April Fool's Day. Especially you idiots who are in this part of the world, in Pakistan and in India and in Bangladesh, you idiots, you young Jahil idiots who are celebrating April Fool's Day and all. I'm not saying we were idiots too when we were young and we didn't even know the meaning of it. But you know what? When we found out the meaning of April Fool's Day, we were like, screw it. What the hell is this? Why are we even doing it? And I'm telling you, we've never, ever, ever touched April Fool's Day since we found out what it meant. And that is when we were very, very young. Because the first time when it was, when we were kids and everybody was going around making fools of each other saying, oh, April Fool's Day, that was the time when we found out, when there were older people who knew the meaning of it, and they told us that this is actually what it means. We're not trying to stop you or anything, but we're just letting you know that this is actually not a good thing. And then when we grew a little older, obviously we were not interested, most of us were not very interested in April Fools anyway. Who with the common sense would even want such a day or celebrate such a day? But the older we grew, and when many of us started to do our research, which is again something that people nowadays just don't do. People know how to yap a lot. People want to vlog, people want to podcast, people want to, go and get viral, and they just want to yap, but they literally have no clue as to what it is that they're talking about or what they're doing, And so normal people like us, who actually know how to do our research and who actually have some common sense and general knowledge, when we sit and look at these ignorant fools, these morons, strut around and making content for the vlog. And actually what makes it worse is that some of them, or many of them, even they know that April Fool's Day is not a good thing to celebrate, or Valentine's Day is against our religion, or even the Christians' religion, or even the Jewish religion, or the fact that bonfire and Halloween and this and that they have nothing to do with us whatsoever, and we're not supposed to celebrate them. And yet, just for the sake of content, they're going to do pranks and antics and this and that and April Fools and Thanksgiving and this, and like, what is wrong with you people? Just for content? This is exactly the kind of thing which God said that you will sell your faith for money. This comes into that. You're selling your faith for money. You're selling your religion out for money, basically. You're like literally, for you it means, that is why I always say that, people, they may call themselves Muslims or Christians and Jews or whatever, but the truth is they lack in faith. It's obvious that majority of the Christians and Jews already lack in faith. That's why we call them nominal. But the Muslims too are no better. I'm sorry, you're not any better. Especially those who have had the fortune to live in Muslim majority countries. They've become so relaxed, they've become so nominal that they literally know jack shit about their own religion, because they never felt the need to learn and to know about their religion, because they're already living in Muslim majority areas, in Muslim majority countries. And so they're so chilled, they're so relaxed, they're so nonchalant, they just can't be bothered. And then it's very much later in life that they realize that, oh, we need to know our religion. As the saying goes, 900 chuhe kha ke billi haj ko chali. After eating 900 mice, the cat decides to go for Hajj. So that is it. That is exactly the mentality of people here. And that's not a very good mentality. I'm sorry. That's not a good thing. It's like literally you're like, oh, let's just enjoy life, do whatever we want, just commit whatever sins we want to, go all out, and at the end we'll just sit down and ask for forgiveness, and God is going to forgive us when we're near our deaths. I find that very hypocritical. I think it's very generous of God that He actually allows you to do that, but I think that's very, very hypocritical, you know. And speaking of, lack of knowledge, or should I say, regardless of knowledge, doing things that people do. For example, when people, I've noticed that older women usually are more prone to covering their heads in our society. And I'm like, you do even realize that covering your heads, or parda or nikah or hijab, is literally for pubescent females. Like, you do realize that, right? I mean, it's very clear that it only applies to pubescent females. That means prepubescent females do not do parda, they do not do hijab, they're not supposed to, and they do not do, and they're not, it's not part of their dress code. And those women who are on menopause, also, the hijab, the parda, it doesn't apply to them at all. It's very clearly written, you know. It only applies to young women, pubescent women. You understand? So prepubescent and menopause. These are the two points in life when you're not at all required to do the hijab. You're not at all required to do parda, you know. So yeah, and the fact, again, as I said, the fact that the older women, they know it, but they're still doing it. I mean, it's just weird. You didn't do it when you were young. I mean, see, that's basically what I'm trying to say. You didn't do it when you were young, but now you're older. You've already hit menopause, but now you want to do it. Now, when you're not even supposed to do it, and you're not even required to do it, and it doesn't even matter, you know, I find that really odd. That's what I'm saying. When, regardless of knowledge, people do whatever it is that they want. I understand that too. I mean, I am one of those people who, regardless of knowledge, will do whatever it is that I want. And I can justify myself and make excuses. But I'm just saying that, are we ever going to be able to fix that trait of ours? You know, I don't know. But it is something that's worth thinking about. It's an interesting situation that we as human beings put ourselves in or find ourselves in, you know, where we think we have life choices, but we don't. But where we do have little choices, we live as if we, you know, maybe because those little choices that we do have, they actually don't even matter. See, that's the problem. The little choices that we have, these are illusions making us think that we have choices in real life, in as in choices that can change our lives, but we don't. Just like how we didn't have a choice to come into this world, and we don't have a choice when we have to leave this world. So similarly, we don't have a lot of choice to change our lives in this world. But anyway, well, this was just me giving my 2 cents that isn't important anyway, because who cares, right? So, well, this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.